Hello and welcome back to OT the podcast. We're here to talk about watches, time and how to spend it. I'm Andy Green.
I'm Felix Schultz. Andy, put some passion into your introduction, please. This is not a regular episode. This is not a run-of-the-mill OT. This is a special OT. This is a reunion.
It has been probably like 2 years since we had today's guest, Jenni Elle, on the show. She was one of our favourite early on. I think life got a little bit busy for her, which we are going to find out about.
And she also appeared in the legendary Christmas episode where we united the world of watch podcasters for one hot second, never doing it again because 5 time zones is challenging.
Logistical nightmare. But Jenni Elle joins us from Germany. She's in Stuttgart, I believe.
Sure, near the homeland of Porsche.
Yes, the one and only. It's probably no coincidence. The finest watch YouTubers and the finest automobiles come from the same German town.
Are you hunting for some Porsche sponsorship there, Andy? Is that what we're angling?
If Ferdinand's listening, I wouldn't say no to some sort of contract arrangement. We'll make sure it's worth your while. But Felix, let's not mess around. Let's just dive right in. Nothing we say or do can be more entertaining than having Jenni Elle on.
That's true. I think you got to know your limitations, and we certainly do.
Let's do it. Felix.
Andy.
Our next guest, well, the guest today doesn't need any introduction. One, because you can see them, but two, because if you can see them, you know who they are from their amazing work on YouTube, Instagram, all over watches. It is, of course, Jenni Elle back. It's been a minute, Jenni Elle, since we had you on. We missed you.
Hello, yeah. I missed you too. I think the last time we spoke face to face was in the Christmas episode.
Yes.
Is that true?
Oof, we didn't do that again.
That was a logistical nightmare, wasn't it?
It was
Too
an
many time
experience, though.
zones.
It was so nice.
That was like 5 time zones, wasn't it? We'll link this one up. That was a great episode. That was during the pandemic when we all had a lot of time and energy. I think we got up at like 5 a.m. We had Kat and Catelyn from 10 and 2, Adrian Barker, and then yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And so all over. And we were I think we had the worst time zone though. Actually, no, I think it was 10 o'clock for you or something at night. Yeah. Wasn't it really late for you?
Now that you say it, I think so. But it was nice. I was young and energized back then.
Pre-parenthood.
It's hard getting one side of the world and the other. Like, if we're in the middle as Australia, we can do Europe or America, but both. Oh,
that must have been a challenge.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy to be back on here.
We pushed through it. Well, you've been busy. We want to catch up. We want to hear all about what you've been up to. I think the main one is parenthood.
Yes, that was the main thing that kept me from watches. Basically, it was a wild ride, but now I'm slowly getting back to everything that I did not have time for before.
Sure.
And we also got her, not her first watch, but she already has a play clock to play around with, which is really cute.
Rolex, Patek.
No, it's like a German brand called Eichhorn, which must be very difficult to pronounce, but it's like a wooden clock and she can spin the hands and
yeah, sure.
She obviously doesn't get it, but she has fun, so I'm fine.
It's not really for her, is it?
Well, probably not. Yeah, but I'm getting a lot of questions about how what's her first watch going to be, and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. I hope she will get into it herself. So I'm not too pushy about it.
Yeah. So I've got an older child than you, but I'm almost quite sort of hands off. I don't want to make my kid. I don't want to indoctrinate them into watches against their will. And now he's at an age where he's like, how much is this one worth? What's this worth? What's the most expensive? That's what has meaning for him at the moment. And I'm really sort of actively downplaying it. Oh no, it's just work. Don't worry about it. But we'll see what happens in another few years, whether or not the interest is there or whatever.
It's a slippery slope, isn't it? Was there a push present, celebratory watch? How did you mark the occasion?
I was thinking about it, or we were thinking about it, but we ended up with like a ring for myself. With
Very
like,
nice.
I'm really into like birthstones and that kind of stuff. So we got like a birthstone for a birth month, and that's gonna be it then. And then we're like, whenever she's old enough, she can, I don't know, go through my watch box and pick something if she wants to. We'll see.
As long as it's steel.
Of course, obviously, she's still going to see the precious metal ones.
That's in the vault.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just box one, not the other boxes. Oh, that's amazing.
Toy box.
Congratulations. Congratulations, of course. It's we did notice you sort of taper off, but you're back. You're back with a vengeance, it seems. You've been really busy lately.
I got to get back into it.
I've got one thing that you've just reminded me of with the birthstones. Oh, we have a mutual friend, Andy, that's expecting a child who shall remain nameless. But they want watch-related names, like maybe Richard Mille, maybe
Frank Mueller, your favourite choice. Frank.
But
little
I
Frankie.
think you can. I mean,
Christopher
ingénieur,
Ward.
it's a strong name for a boy or a girl. I don't know. I'm sure there's forums out there dedicated to this. Royal Oak, maybe.
Oh my! Come here, little royal,
Oof.
little oaky.
Little prince,
that's
yeah,
tough.
little oyster prince or something.
Overseas.
All right. Well,
You can do better.
we can do better than that. All right, but yes, Jenny, you're back. You're back on YouTube. You're back making pretty regular content, which is amazing. Lots of Q&As on
Yeah,
Instagram.
feels
But
good.
tell us, what brought it back? You said just before you had to come back. Why?
What brought it back? Well, I mean, if you spend so much time with something like watches and then you have a break, you kind of miss it. But I think like most of the people who are like in this have like go through these like stages of like heightened interest, then it like goes down a bit. You're like, nothing new there for me. And it kind of feels like that right now to me. I had my priority. She's still my priority, obviously. But like, I'm ready to get back to the things that I really enjoy. And a couple of things have been happening just with the SPI recently and everything. So, and you've got Watches and Wonders upcoming. So I'm so excited for like new stuff. I cannot wait to see new things. That's like what I'm most excited for.
Are you going to be there? You're going to head to Geneva?
Probably not. No, we completely fumbled it this time again. Because I mean, we couldn't attend last year, so we were like, okay, but like 2024 is going to be our year. This is like the first time they're going to have like public access to it, which sounds exciting. We'll see how that goes. And then we completely missed that like kind of timeline of where you have to like book something in Geneva, so you don't have to like stay in a shack with a child. And now like most places have booked out, and it's like a logistical nightmare for me right now to get there. And I was like, okay, come on, scratch that. Next year is going to be my year. Are you going to be there?
I'm going to be there. If
Yes.
not.
Oh,
any
damn.
hoteliers are listening to this with a spare room or a presidential suite they've stashed away, this is your chance.
Just give me something like semi-central with like a door that's going to close. And
Just a locking
fine.
door. Maybe some running water. Well,
Maybe like a mattress on the floor.
I can look at getting a rollout cot. I'm sure they've got them around.
Give spare room. But yeah, unfortunately, it's because I was really excited about, especially because of like the public days, because I'm really curious to see how they will, if it's just going to be like window shopping for visitors where you just like walk past watches in like a window display or whatever. I'm not sure how they're going to figure this out, how they will have like the visitors experience it. I don't know. We'll see.
Andy will see. He's the only one that's going to see. No one else
You
is going
will
to see.
Exactly.
Report back, Andy.
Oh, so nice.
You mentioned before, like, we don't have to wait until all the new releases for Watches and Wonders. There has, in the last, at time of recording, 48 hours or so, been a few significant drops, so to speak. The first one, the white Speedmaster, I deliberately haven't spoken to Andy about it, knowing that we were maybe going to chat about it here. What's everyone's take on it, starting maybe with Jenni.
My take on it, I have not seen it in person yet, but my husband did yesterday. So I was like, give me all the details. I really like it, I have to say. I'm not the biggest like Speedmaster fan, as in
Same.
it's
Boring.
like I've seen it lots of times. It's a very classic watch, but it's just not like
a
for
bit
me,
boring.
I guess. Yeah, it's a blank dial chronograph at the end of the day. Omega fans come at me, but the white dial really makes it more special. I just noticed it because of that. I really enjoy a lacquer dial. It looks fantastic, and the white is so crisp, and the applied indices work. It's still too big for me, but I really like it. I think it's a great addition to the gazillion Speedmasters out there. I'm enjoying it. That's like very quick and short, but I'm enjoying it.
Sure. I don't think it's controversial. It all seems fine. It all seems good, but it's a bit wild to me that we're making such a fuss over it. Like it's a white dial.
It's the classic pre-watch fair release that they always do to try and cause a bit of noise because everyone's on edge. I mean, AP did it as well yesterday. But I agree with you, Jenni. The size of the Speedy Pro has always been something that I don't quite like. I just think it's a little bit too big, and we've just let it be a little bit too big for too long. And plus, I think it's a pretty boring watch. I mean, it's great, it's reliable, it's all that stuff, but it's just a little bit boring.
Question. Is it a boring watch because it's essentially a boring watch, or is it a boring watch because of all the stuff around the Omega Speedmaster?
It's a safe watch. It's just I think good design can be a bit boring as well. Like, yeah, it's nice. You can't really, it's too reliable. It's like a Toyota Camry. You can't, if you break down the inherent qualities and traits, like it's a very good thing at what it does, and it's good quality, and it's all that, but it's just a bit boring. That's why everyone needs to put them on NATO straps and exciting straps, because it's just
it doesn't do much, I would say, but that's like a good and a bad thing for the watch. It's I like that you called it a safe watch. That's like a very good description, I think. A lot of people, you go through the stage when you like start getting into watches. I think kind of like the same journey for most people, how you get to know the most popular watches from like each brand, and you've got the Submariner, you've got the Speedmaster, you've got the Aquaracer and whatever. And you really get into these models and you think, oh, they're great because they're so popular and for a good reason. But then you kind of see more, you get around a bit more, and then it's like, okay, it's a black dial chronograph. That's
you into
a
your
bit too
gem
big.
set, your diamond dials and your gem set eras.
Obviously,
and
you know,
Hublot starts
my
to
rainbow
look
Daytonas.
enticing. You're like, yeah, Hublot's doing cool. That's cool. That's color. Wow.
But then you go back. Then you go back to the safe. You go back to the classics. But maybe maybe that's what, I don't know. Maybe that's what this is for. Like, I want a classic, but with a twist.
Good point. Maybe, yeah,
Thank
that
you.
could be because you're welcome. Because that's what Kai said. Because he had a Speedmaster. He sold it. That's a long time ago. Yeah, because he moved on from it. He enjoyed it for a bit, and he was like, okay, well, that's it. I had enough. And now he had a look at it, and he's like, oh, it's white dial looks great on it. You know, it's something different again. It's like a fresh up. And I don't think he's like seriously considering it, but that was just something very surprising to hear him say, like, oh, I like a Speedmaster again. So they did a good job on it.
He flirted with the idea, but he won't.
Yeah, I think so.
He won't commit. He's had it before. He won't go back.
Not. Yeah, probably not.
Now, the other big sort of pre-Geneva release was, and I love the way they framed this, Audemars Piguet had their semester one showing at AP House Milano.
They newly opened it.
I believe
one in Milan,
they did,
right?
yeah. Well, I think it was their concept one, and then I don't know. I
Something like
glossed
that.
over the press release, if I'm completely honest. And they released a lot of watches.
They did.
One very obvious sort of front runner, which was the collaboration with John Mayer. He's got Andy or Jenny. Do you remember what the title they have called him? He's like the collaborative. There's some ridiculous
The
thing
chief collaborative.
AP called him that, or
Yeah,
Yes.
like he's our collaborative muse or some sort of. He's not like an ambassador. There's some sort of very AP wording to it. But so they've come up with the Crystal Sky Royal Oak QP. Do we want to start talking about this one, or is there anything else from the AP novelties that have you super excited?
I have to say what stood out to me the most. I mean, the John Mayer one looks great. It's like an interesting thing to look at. I was super shocked by two things. First is like the sand gold, the new like alloy. I think they switched silver with palladium or something to make this like very warm, like a sandy gold.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
What really stood out to me was that crazy like ceramic camouflage situation. Have you seen this one?
Not only that, but they're also
offshore?
saying they can use that technique for camouflage gold.
That would be
Oh,
cool.
I haven't read that. Camouflage gold, like
they can use the same laser sintering, like that same laser process. Here's me being a laser, with gold alloys as well to create a sort of a single piece of gold with a camouflage pattern. Apparently,
sheesh. That would be interesting to see if they can figure it out.
Yeah.
I know. I've heard. Colleagues of mine have apparently seen the gold and seen the ceramic, and it looks good. It looks like what you would imagine.
I think
Nice.
broadly what they've done with this, I mean, call it semester one, trimester one, whatever it is, it's pretty solid, because the last few years they've had just a roaring run, and I think end of maybe last half of last year, everything sort of started to taper off a bit for all watch brands. And this does feel quite strong. It feels different enough, and as a collection, it feels pretty strong. Even the 1159s look refreshed and new,
nice.
considering they're sort of 5 or 6 years old. I think that they've managed to do something which I'm impressed with, which is put a bit of hype back into the watches. As the hype sort of coming down, they've managed to kind of give it a spike, because I mean, pretty much every watch brand bar the Cartier crash or Cartier, like, it's just coming back to normal. And whereas this actually has me looking at these watches and going, there's a fair bit to get hyped up about here.
For me,
it's sorry.
No, you go.
It's interesting to hear you say that, Andy, because I've checked out the Hodinkee like article on it, and the people in the comments, I don't know if that's like a representative of like the
I hope not.
the opinion, but people were kind of like meh about it in the comments. I think, at least like up until yesterday when I was reading about it, how it's just like putting new paint on something very old. Because I think lots of people seem to be over the Royal Oaks, and that was the thing that I took away from it.
I think, or are they just salty? Is it the whole thing of like, I can't get them anymore, I can't afford them, or I can't get the allocation, whatever it is, so I'm going to sort of,
Maybe that's the thing. The boutique only step was, I think, a big bummer for so many people who were putting in the hours at ADs to get like a good relationship, and then AP pulled out of the ADs, and now they're just left with nothing.
Here, I think there's only going to be one AP boutique in the whole country, in Sydney, New South Wales, and that's it. So they've pulled out of everywhere.
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot for
that's how they make the money.
22, 23 million people.
The money.
I think the cash. My view is you kind of get exhausted, and you get a bit sad that you can't get the thing. Like, that'd be really nice if I had the money, but then even if you have the money, maybe you can't get it. And then with that comes some acceptance over time of going, actually, you know what, this is fair play to whoever gets this, you know, sandblasted, sand gold AP. It's going to be amazing. It looks really cool. The dial looks nice. I think that they've put together the assets really nicely. It's the same with, you know, like the John Mayer. No one's going to be able to get that. They're going to decide, you know, the 200 people that get that, and it's just probably never going to see it. But good on them. It can still be nice and be unattainable. And I think that's just like part of the watch collecting progression.
Do you know what I think is really cool about the John Mayer one? It's actually 201, so he's getting one that's slightly different. His has got a sapphire bezel.
Yeah.
Have we ever seen a sapphire bezel on a Royal Oak before?
Yeah.
Really?
We have. Yes. But he just had to have a special. I mean, that's why you do it. You're not doing this for any reason other than to have your own unique piece.
Well, that's how it started, apparently. So, it was a unique piece.
He requested something?
Yeah, he wanted it, and they're like, hey, actually, I reckon we can make a few more of these. And
we got some cases in the back.
Yeah, slap them together, figure out a way to sell these Royal Oak cases no one wants. Everyone thinks they're meh and isn't buying them.
Well, it is actually, we say that, but it is the end of that movement. I can't remember the caliber, but the old Perpetual caliber that they've been using for a long time. Apparently, it's the last time they're ever going to use it, which is a good way to discontinue something.
Yeah, I agree. That is a good idea.
Rather than just, send it off, take it off the website. You say, oh, this is the end. This is the last one. You're never going to see this.
Goodbye.
Get hyped about our new one.
Oh, the hype.
Good Lord.
For me, there was one. There were a few other watches in the assortment that I quite liked. There was I think it's just a dial variation, but that really deep red fume dial tourbillon was very nice. And there was also a 234 millimeter Royal Oaks, one in two-tone. The other one had a really a pink dial, like a salmony pink dial in pink gold that was very, very nice, that I will never, ever wear.
I think I've seen this one.
An anthracite dial you're talking about with the open work.
Nope.
Was
no
it an
open
anthracite?
works. No. These are...
with the tourbillon.
There's a few tourbillons.
Yeah, so there's a red anthracite tourbillon. Is that the sort of red dial you're talking about?
It's a flying tourbillon. It's a red fume dial with a tourbillon at 6, not open worked.
No, I mean the tourbillon. It's open, slightly open worked. Yeah, that's an anthracite dial. So there's actually quite a bit of texture to it.
Oh.
So it's
red. What does the anthracite mean, Andy?
I'm just trying to Google it.
It's not anthracite. Isn't that a red colour?
No.
I thought it was grey.
Grey. Anthracite's
It is grey.
Isn't anthracite a red? A grey?
Oh, no, I've looked at the wrong... Burgundy.
Yeah.
Burgundy
Winning
sunburst.
with the confidence of a white man at trivia night.
Harsh.
True
Oh,
that.
I'm seeing it now. It's
That's
like a
next to it.
smoked.
Yeah, smoky.
Ooh.
I
You're
think it's
right.
interesting.
Actually,
I think they've done
There's
novelty
two.
well.
There's another one that is gold with what could well be an anthracite dial.
That
is
looks great
anthracite.
to me too.
Yeah. Anyway,
Ah.
I find it interesting. I mean, the timing right before Watches and Wonders is always interesting for new releases.
I mean, they only pulled out of Watches and Wonders 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So weird somehow to think of like Watches and Wonders and not have AP in it. I don't know. It's like such a big brand for so
They
many.
also used to
and-
give the best press gifts. Here's a little insider tip for you. You get good stuff. Little speakers.
Yeah, like a good pen.
Nah, I got like
Your bags and stuff.
yeah, bags. On my Christmas tree, we have like hand-blown crystal AP Christmas ball things that I got one year. That was great. Like
Wow.
genuinely nice crystal. And then I've had a few little sort of random like Bluetooth speakers that were like quite cool. But no, AP always good.
May I say though that Nomos is also really good at that.
Oh,
I
pens and
have a
notepads.
chair at home.
You got a chair?
I got a chair.
Oh, you have to send us a picture of the chair.
I think you're higher up than Nomos.
No, everyone got a chair. It was like Oprah, handing out chairs at that
Felix,
event.
you have to remember my first Basel World when we were in the Nomos booth and they came over and they put business class ticket vouchers in front of us and said, "You ever want to come visit the manufacturer? Here's a ticket. We'll cover your accommodation and we'll fly you out." And we just said, we are coming from Australia. And they're like, "That's fine." And they gave like 4 or 5 of us those, and we never
then they
used
just
them.
piled other stuff. They just kept giving us. They were lovely.
It was amazing. It was like we actually
really
like,
are.
"Well, are you serious?" And they're like, "Yes, we would love to have you visit the manufacturer." And I reckon I have.
It's
had
a
that
lovely
somewhere.
team.
I should just email
They
and say,
are
"Hey,
amazing.
when is there's no expiration date on this? Can I?"
You should. No, seriously, you should. They
but you know what?
are great.
They'd probably do it. I noticed
Do it.
the watch on your wrist. Being video, guys. It's video. It's amazing. High quality, 4K from Jenni Elle. Rolex Datejust. You've had that for a while. That's been a
Yes.
mainstay in the collection.
It has.
You've picked up other stuff. You've sold other stuff. Don't really care about that. But tell us, like, why this Datejust that's, safe has remained on the wrist and stood the test of time.
Well, it has to stay for like forever because that's my wedding watch. So selling that one would feel a bit like a betrayal, even though I think because he's got the GMT Pepsi, the Rolex Pepsi, when it just has been released, that was his like wish at the AD is like, can you make it happen until the wedding? That was in 2019. And there was a time where I was not enjoying this watch at all. It was rotting away in the watch roll. And it made me feel so bad because, like, do you have this when you think about something that you try to suppress, and every time it like pops up again, you're like, oh, I feel like a piece of shit because of it. And it was the same thing with this watch. Every time I like remembered having this, I was like, oh, I don't want to put it on, but it's a good watch and it's my wedding watch. Mainly not because of the attached memory, but that's
marriage for you.
It is a flashy
isn't
one.
it? Marriage for you.
Yeah.
There's ups and downs.
Yeah, of course. But that's, the metaphor here. But
Are we still talking about the watch, Jenni?
It's like a therapy session. No, I really started to enjoy it again because, I don't know, there was a time where I was not really into anything sparkly. I don't know why. Maybe it was like the hormones. I cannot tell you. But now I'm like, yes, let's go out with this one and just blind everyone. But
It's perfect.
it is the flashiest watch that I own. So,
But also, it's maybe the safest. I don't know what other watches you own, but it's an incredibly safe choice, and that's what safe
Totally
is good
is.
for. Like in 30 years' time, that's going to be just as great, no matter who's wearing it, who
it's true.
Well, let me ask you this. That's the second most sentimental watch that I understand you to have. There was a candy pink oyster Perpetual that,
Yes,
it bonds us
Yeah,
together forever.
I know. I still have it, of course.
Oh, amazing. Okay,
It
good.
is. Yes. No. I will. I could never. These are. Yes, I would say. I'm just thinking about. But yeah, these are the 2 watches I will never part with. Knock on wood. These are just. I cannot part with them. They're just too precious to me. It's. Oh gosh, I love my Oyster Perpetual. The candy pink is hands down my absolute most favorite watch. It is perfect, so perfect. Every time. I'm so happy when it's like, okay, now I've put enough time with the other watches, I've spent enough time with them, I can come back to the candy pink. I love it so much.
So,
It's like a safe place.
given that you're both quite into the old Rolex as a brand, and last year I think Rolex had a ridiculous year that no one really predicted what they were doing. There was a lot of surprises there. Do you guys have any thoughts, speculations, theories as to what we might be seeing them drop in a couple of weeks' time?
I mean, I think I've got like a really safe prediction that I keep thinking about. They are going to do something with 1908. I mean, they have to. That's like so boring, but so predictable, I think. But I'm kind of excited to see if they're really going to do like a moon phase or like make a a rose gold case or whatever, and just see if they're going to repeat the same mistakes with the Cellini that they made or not.
The moon phase has become, quote unquote, like a bit popular in the Cellini now that you can't get it, and there's a bit of interest in them, and I feel the Cellini is a bit of a misunderstood watch because it was kind of successful for a long time until I reckon 5 or 6 years ago when everything became difficult.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a corporate. Like I had a friend's dad who I'll step back this because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But I got good intel that big companies that was like the gold retirement watch. So he had a dealership and they would do like 20 watches a year and they'd place the corporate order and do like 20 watches. And this is just like one. And so there was apparently a lot of people out there that sort of would do it. So I think, and being precious metal as well, amazing margins, right? Leather strap,
true,
bit of precious metal, design doesn't really change. It was sort of like a quiet one and probably beat out a lot of the other, collections and some sports pieces.
And probably less easy to order 20 of them.
Less headaches for sure. Yep. And that faded out probably 6-7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. But it was, but I feel like given the Cellini's, little resurgence and the moon phase in particular, it would make sense. The other thing is, I think, predictable is something going on with that, the Pepsi you mentioned.
Yeah.
Again, I'm hearing it's very, very difficult to get them. The dealers are getting, the stock's just drying up, and that always happens.
They keep changing the colour formula and...
Well, there's rumours that they've done patents for other colours and that sort of stuff, but the actual delivery of them really, it starts to slow down, and that's when they're sort of getting rid of or phasing something out. And you see that with other models historically is that they basically trickle out the last few as they prepare for a new launch. And that's, maybe they're just marketing geniuses, which they are, and they're sort of just making it difficult to throw red herrings because that's what they love to do, troll us all. But I think that's probably the natural progression. And last year's going to be a hard year to follow because I think they had quite a strong one, and some of the stuff they introduced, I don't think they'll be ready to do more with, like the titanium or whatever they call it.
I was just going to ask about the titanium.
They can't be ready to do more with it. I mean, everyone would want a Submariner, but again, that's effectively a novelty watch, the titanium Yachtmaster that they did.
I've got a theory. It's not I don't know if I've really spoken to you about this, Andy, but I've written about it in a few places. I think we're going to see in the second half of the year, so not Watches and Wonders, it is the 70th anniversary of CERN, the European Science Institute. It's also, I think, the 70th-ish anniversary of the Milgauss, which is a scientist watch. And I think CERN is they're having like a big birthday sort of celebration, announcement thing. I think we're going to see a Le Mans Daytona situation with the Milgauss at CERN. Like there'll be a little.
But would it really come back so soon, like a new Milgauss?
It's a good time to do it, though. It's a
true.
Because Rolex is as much as they're about sports and stuff, they're also about those scientific partnerships that they've got that wing of what they do.
Wasn't there like a new like a spring pattern that they have filed about like an anti-magnetic, like a new
saw that.
Like not the Siloxy is like the old one, and now they're like doing something new. I'm not sure.
Maybe. That's what you'd showcase in a new special Milgauss.
It's all over Nikolai's Instagram. The second they drop a patent, he's there. He's missed an opportunity to be a patent attorney. What I like to like in my fantasy land is the solid gold Yachtmaster one making a comeback because that's been gone for a while.
What do you mean? The Yachtmaster one, yeah.
Yeah, some rubies, a pearl dial, yellow gold. I think we're ready for it.
I like the Yachtmaster.
Me too.
I was I was watching a video I did back in Time and Tide. Russell Crowe had a Yachtmaster that he sold that was on his like a sailing movie that he did. It's a platinum Yachtmaster, sold for like 15 grand Australian.
The thing is, Felix, those it used to be the cheapest kind of solid Rolex, solid gold sports Rolex you could get. But if you have a look at the prices on some of the yachty ones in gold from late 90s, early 2000s, they are $70,000 watches now, and the ones with the rubies they've skyrocketed. So, I mean, maybe they'll do something funky like that.
Okay. Patek. They've said, so Terry Stern.
Tez.
On a first name basis.
Tezzy.
We were chatting the other day. He called me up and he said, Felix, I'm going to release a new collection in this year. You know, he said, should I? And I said, yeah, you should. Prior to that, their most recent collections are the 24, the women's, I think it's called the 24, the lady sort of steel bracelet watch.
Like a sort of elliptical case, these ones?
Yeah, you get another one. Yeah.
And then before that was the Aquanaut. So that's a long time. So there was like maybe 8 years ago for the 24 or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. And then 96 for the Aquanaut. What do you think? Is it true? Will we get an entirely new design, or is this going to be some sort of, Calatrava 2.0, Calatrava Sport, something else? What do you reckon? Any thoughts?
Gosh, I'm so not into Patek.
It's worse than AP for sort of keeping up to date with it. So the 24 was like the 90s, Felix. It was 99.
No. I'm talking about a different one then. Let me work out what I'm on about.
The 24 kind of looks like a Nautilus. But,
it's like a rectangle.
Both. But the recent one is sort of like an Aquanaut. I mean, there is a rectangle as well. There's two categories to it.
I'm talking about the collection, the 24, which was released in 20. Oh, you're talking about the rectangle. Yeah, okay. The square one is older then, is it?
Yes. Yeah. The square, the rectangle. Yeah, that's 90s. And then the newer one is
2016
the more
or something.
modern looking. Yeah. That's sort of ladies collection. But I find Patek hard. I'm with you. I find it really
right.
It's that add another layer of unobtainable and too hard basket for me, and then you lose interest and you kind of lose track of what they're doing. But they're definitely shifting towards smaller watches, and certainly with the pilots and I think their dress watches are making quite a strong comeback, as is all dress watches and the. I don't know. Someone
which
said
I'm so
leather
happy
straps.
about.
What are you
happy about things.
What are you glad that's been woken up, or getting a recognition or the love?
Colorful dials, to be honest, might be a bit of a boring answer, but it's so nice to see a bit. I mean, I'm talking about like I've been in this for like 20 years, which I've not been, but as far as I can tell, I'm happy that things seem to be moving away from like sunbursts, and like I've seen a million like blue sunburst dials, and I'm happy that we're taking a bit more of a different direction with like different materials, different colors. Seem to make a comeback. I mean, they've been around before, but then I feel like in the like 10s, everything was more sunbursty, and now it's not. And I'm happy to see that. I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that everyone has the same psychological and thought processes that I do, and really just simplify it. But my analysis of it is, and it's the same with sort of the vintage, the 70s funky, the 80s funky gold dress watch with a stone dial or gems on it is all the rage right now. Cartier, Piaget, all this stuff that no one really cared, other than Mr. Enthusiast, Phil Toledano. No one else cared about it. And now everyone's like, wow, this is great. And I feel like everyone sort of hit the wall at the same time of this is too hard. This is too expensive. I just don't have the energy to, build these relationships up and try and get the same thing as everyone else. So what else is there? What else is, interesting and has a good brand history behind it? And, oh, actually, this is pretty fun. I can buy this. And now it's sort of, maybe it's a bit extreme that way, but everyone seems to want the different watch and sort of is collectively kind of following their individual tastes a little bit more and a bit more comfortable. And maybe that's just sort of the watch internet has matured, and it's at that point of like, okay, it doesn't need to be the same thing as everyone else, Instagram, GMTs and Submariners. Now it's kind of like, it's okay, it's safe, it's all right to have your own, personal preference and choice in watches and sort of really, experiment and do the thing that's slightly different. And most of the time it's the same as everyone else. So I'm, of course, very happy. And because what happens is brands then reward that behavior, you're right. They then reward that behavior. You go, Piaget doing the Polo reissue, which is, it's a whole other thing, whole other conversation. But they do, Cartier, they're rewarding and really digging into their history. And I love that Cartier are doing it, because if any brand can lean on, 100 plus years of designs, it's Cartier.
I agree.
So,
gosh, I love Cartier so much.
I'm so keen to see what they do this year.
Me too. I've got like 3 brands that I'm so looking forward to. It's like
Tell us.
Cartier, it's Nomos, and it's Rolex. I think these 3 are always so great at new releases. Rolex debatable for some people, because it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people are so like going so insane about like a millimeter more to a case, but that's not the point. And like, I'm not going to argue that. But Nomos and Cartier are just, they always get me so excited, and they always find like a new twist to something that has existed before that I already was enjoying, and then they add something new to it. So I'm happy.
I'll throw IWC in the mix, I think, of recent years as a brand that is exciting enough to watch, because they're working to it. Like, they really are putting the effort into materials and innovation and movements. And they put on a show. They go big at the fairs, and they really they
I need to see that so bad. I'm so gosh.
You should go to a manufacture tour. It can't be miles away.
Schaffhausen is really just, I think, 1.5 hours from where I live. It's really close, actually.
So I'm doing a tour before Watches and Wonders. So I fly into Zurich. We can get lunch. You can drive for an hour and meet me for lunch. And then I'm doing a manufacturer tour the following day. So I actually have time. Let's make that plan. I think it's the 6th of April. Done. Let's do it.
6th of April?
Yeah, put it in the calendar right now. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited because it looks great. From what I'm hearing, when they first opened it, it was, half capacity, and now it's just about full. But having maybe seen some of the stuff that's coming this year already, I think it's kind of worth getting excited over. So I would throw them definitely in that mix of truly exciting brands, just from like the last few years, especially. They've really upped the ante as far as, in my opinion, Felix.
Yeah. Look, it's nice. I think what we're going to see from them, we've only seen a little bit of it, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good year for them as well.
Is there anything that you guys are looking forward to in particular? Like anything that you really, really wish for that you think could happen from any brand? Is there something like a dream watch that could possibly be coming true?
Down. I'd be sitting down. This is my dream. This is my. I have a watch dream, guys. Cartier.
Where is this going?
Santos Dumont.
Okay.
Bracelet.
No.
That's it. Give me a bracelet. Give me a bracelet.
That's a Cartier. That's a Santos.
No, because the Santos Dumont is slimmer. It's quartz. I don't care that it's quartz. Put it in gold and put a bracelet on it. And make
You're not going to do that, Andy.
Don't do it. No, this is my dream. This is what I want.
You're not listening to your dream. I just got off the phone from Cyril Vigneron after Terry, and he said, Felix, we're thinking about a Santos Dumont on a bracelet. And I'm like, that's Andy's dream. Don't do it.
Crush his dreams.
Yeah, crush it.
Andy just told me this. Don't But I would love to see that.
It sounds nice.
Right?
It will be great. You're absolutely right, in all fairness, but that's like saying, why doesn't Rolex make a tourbillon sapphire cased?
It's not that crazy to say put a watch on a bracelet.
I think it's more. Oh my god! Imagine like a Rolex Submariner with like a tourbillon somehow placed into it. It's like a Frankenstein.
Jenny, do you have a dream watch that we can file under "It'll never happen"?
That sounds heartbreaking. You know what? It might be a bit of a boring thing, but I would love some. If they could make a purple, or it's a Perpetual 34, and I'm not talking about like a grape sunburst style kind of situation, but like a proper nice purple that I could add to my candy pink. I love purple in watches so much, and it is so rare. And give me all the purple you can get. It's such a cool color, and I think it's so versatile because it's softer than a blue and more exciting, but it's not so dark as a red. And if you find like the right purple or like a violety kind of purple, and then have it like lacquered on in like a nice like smaller size, that would just be so lovely.
You're spot on. A purple dial is I mean, you see eggplant, you see a bit of aubergine, but a good purple.
Yes, a good purple, and not
Shouldn't
like
be that hard.
not like the. I don't want to shit on AP, but I'm going to do it. Not like the Black Panther purple that they've.
Too deep.
I'm not talking about that purple. It's hard to describe.
You want
the
you want like a more
wheel.
vibrant.
Is it like a Patek Gondolo that was once blue and aged into purple? That sort of purple?
I think you want more brightness to it. So you're deep purple.
I think it has a lot to do with like like a sunburst purple is going to be different than like a lacquer purple or like a I don't know what else is there.
But you don't want sunburst. That's a bit too too grainy.
They need to stop with the sunburst. I'm so over kind of sunburst right now.
Maybe it's a lacquer. Maybe it's a purple lacquer. That's sort
imagine.
Or enamel, or proper enamel.
Yeah.
Why not just go all a...
Yes, and then like have it like somehow also fully like loomed. Have it like purple in the day, like a solid purple.
Lewis Heath.
And then like it will like have a purple loom as well, like a pink loom, maybe like that. I don't know.
I don't have a specific dream watch. I've got a general, something I would like to see more of, and I know why we're not going to see more of it. From Richemont, I blame the Reverso. In fact, in general, I blame the Reverso has killed anyone else being able to have fun cases. Cartier Basculante, the one that sort of flipped up, that was great. Piaget had the Upstream, like in the early 2000s, that the case was in the bracelet, and you took it off the wrong way around. Tag Heuer used to do weird stuff with cases back in the day. I want some weird, funky case action.
Okay. Yeah, maybe like some kind of like doubles as like something else, like it's a watch case, but also something different.
Like you open it the other way around, or you can slide the watch bit out. Like, I don't know. Do I look like an engineer?
Well, I know what you're saying because I mean the Upstream and the Basculante are watches. I mean, early in IT you were harping on about them, so maybe it's your fault. But look, let me say this: Chrome Hearts is cool and back.
Oh,
so anything is possible.
What?
Chrome Hearts. Chrome Hearts is cool. It's in. Apparently, everyone wants it. If you've got like vintage Chrome Hearts is the big thing now. So crazy cases could happen. Maybe Chrome Hearts will do a crazy case for you.
Frank Mueller's coming back. Frank Mueller and Chrome Hearts. That's a collaboration I'm going to see. I don't know what I'm not yet well versed enough in Jenny's laughs to know if that's the worst thing you've ever heard.
That was a chuckle.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
That was a chuckle. So I want to ask you, Jenny, because we're doing video now, so you're an expert at this. When we do our thumbnails,
Yeah.
Do we like one hand point, two hand point, hands out like the, because you're a pointer. You're a pointer in your thumbnails.
I am.
9 out of 10 times you're pointing. Yeah.
I am.
Is that the secret? Is that what we need to do?
It's part of the secret, I think.
Okay.
I think there is no such a, it's, how do I explain it?
From
You
the
know
heart.
when you've got a good thumbnail by looking at it, but it's like a secret sauce, and like pointing to things is part of the ingredients.
It's dynamic.
Yeah, it's you wanna have the perfect. It's not only the thumbnail. You have to think about your title as well. Obviously, it has to be like a question when you look at it. So you want to click on it to find out what it's all about.
Some of yours are quite political. Like they feel like a politician, sort of like demanding, like like a power. Yeah, and you do the
Like this
faces as
one?
well. Yeah,
We demand more funky cases.
I'm outraged. Yeah,
Is this my new watch? And then like a rainbow Daytona.
yeah.
Classic.
Oh yeah, they do look.
7 reasons why I'm not buying the white dialed Speedmaster.
This
You're
is
a pro.
one of them.
Oh yes, the cross point. Yeah. See, I'm
So like I can show my watch.
Nice.
You did. I did watch one of your videos the other morning having my
that's
breakfast at the dining table. Before we had this booked in, I was like, "Oh, what's Jenni Elle been up to?" And it was
Did 5 minutes after you email me saying, we should talk to Jenni Elle again.
yep. And it was a list of watches that aren't actually great to own. That are nice in theory, and I thought that was quite a.
Oh, what's on the list? I didn't watch the video, but can you just tell me what they
There was
are?
8 amazing watches that suck to actually own. So that was 2
lots
weeks
of different
ago.
ones. Yeah. It's for example like the Timex Q reissue with the hair pulling stuff
That's
in the
it.
situation,
Inchi,
and like all
yeah.
these things that make it's the stuff that you only learn when you like wear them or spend enough time with a watch, and it can be so annoying that it really can ruin the fun you have with a watch. And it's a fun
Royal
video
Oak.
to like talk
I'd put
about
the
this.
Royal Oak up there. It's a terrible bracelet.
Oh,
It will scratch like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll
I think that's
scratch.
the worst issue with this
I don't
one.
find it comfortable either.
Well, so this
No?
is why I liked it, because it reminds you of the saying that Felix likes to repeat and often, but you can't wear a spec sheet, and there is a lot of value
Ever
in
said
action.
that?
Maybe I
It
invented
sounded
it.
smart though.
Thank you. You can't wear a spec sheet of a watch, but you kind of do need to own watches to really kind of experience them. And even going hands-on is one thing. It's better than never seeing the watch. But a lot comes from buying watches, and it's something that took me a while to learn. Was like, it's okay to buy things and it's okay to sell things, right? Because
Yes, I
that
agree.
value, what you keep after you sell the watch is the ownership experience and all the different parts that come with it. And, I had a big vintage watch phase for a couple of years early on where I probably had 20 vintage watches that I bought and sold in a year, and they were worth, 10 times what they were then. But you learnt so much about the different models and the references through researching them when you bought them, but then owning them. And it's the same thing with cars, where unless you kind of own it and drive it for a while, and of course that's a luxury, but there's so much value in actually owning something and the opinions that you can give. And again, bit of a clickbaity title, but that's okay. That's the point of YouTube. We're here too. But there's so much value to be had in actually experiencing and owning the watch. And that's why I really liked the video, was because that was a demonstration of this like other side of value, which a lot of people, that aren't serious, or that aren't the window shop, or, just look at things for 2 minutes, go on for an hour about. And I found that much more interesting than, I haven't watched your new Speedmaster video, but I bet I'll like it more than that one. But no offense.
Because isn't that like the worst? I think buyer's remorse with expensive things like watches is so much more like, oh God, it just hurts so much when you buy something and then
It's
you
not like having a
experience
bad sandwich when you just spent $30,000
Exactly.
on a watch that you don't like.
And it's like then you end up like you're looking down like a month after like purchasing something, and you realize like it's so not working for you personally, and then you're like, damn, what did I do? Because you start
Why
to
didn't
research.
Jenny do a
like you
video
said,
and tell me? Why didn't she warn me
Yeah.
about this?
it's her fault. No, but that's like, that was like one of the things that, because we were talking about this like which watches to put into the video. And then we really started talking about like our difference, because sometimes you don't really talk about these things, because I don't know, like how does like getting your arm hair pull come up in like a discussion about watches sometimes, you know? You talk about different things like design and sizes and whatnot and availability and prices. But like, what's the actual day-to-day experience wearing this one? Like, how is your arm hair looking, for example, or whatever? You know, like silly things like that could really impact you when actually wearing the watch. And that should be talked about more, I think. And Felix, just like you said, how it's uncomfortable for you, the AP bracelet, right?
Yeah.
Not lots of people are really like actually talking about how there was something, because that's like the thing that they usually say, like the more, what's the English word for it? Links it has, like a bracelet, the more comfortable it usually is. But that's not always the case.
Well, what I'm hearing is there's a hairy arm watch enthusiast community
it's
that's
like
sort
the
of
worst thing.
there are a silent majority out there of people they're getting pinched, and we need like some sort of hair pinch rating on every
Or
bracelet.
just laser hair removal.
Just the
Just like the first like 10 centimeters from like here to here.
One of the early famous watch bloggers did in fact shave his wrist.
Negan and
That's a
Ashman.
bold choice.
What was his or her name? Is it you?
I don't know.
Are you talking about yourself?
Let me just think about this one. Look, I mean, it's not too weird. Let's just say that he's made a few collaborations with Zodiac recently.
Okay.
And maybe it's a good blog to read.
The industry secrets. I mean, this is the title right here.
Right.
You won't believe who shaves their
I
wrists.
don't know. I had to think about that one.
But we need to, like,
is this
point to
something that is
something.
widely known?
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped.
We could start a new trend. Now I'm right now really like conscious about my arm hair now.
Yeah,
This
you
is like
should
something
be.
I also get a lot.
You have too
It's
much
like-
of it or not enough.
Exactly. It's a thing when I mix like wrist shots in my videos
Yeah.
from like different wrists that are obviously not mine, because it's different size, and then it's like a guy or like Kai, or like I had my dad's wrist in a video once I think it was like my Hamilton khaki field automatic review, and I had him like model it for me because he's got a really big wrist, and then I got people saying like, "Oh, disgusting."
It's not the wrist
Like,
I
what
signed
kind
up
of-
for.
What kind of lady has wrists like that? Like,
Yes.
can't you read? Anyways,
Why did I watch this whole video? It's not. You.
Came here for women's wrists.
You bait
Not
and
what
got a bit
Switch
switched me.
sidetracked here. You see,
Far too.
it seems like a big issue to me. I'm
Well,
uncovering like trauma.
I think we've hit all the essential hot button topics of the watch industry in 2024.
I have one more.
Oh wow!
I have one more question. Cautious of the time. You got inked up. You drew all over your wrist, and this I went through the same thing 2 years ago. I got a tattoo right where my watch is. That is, I can't not have it in any wrist content
wrist
or wrist
strap?
roll. It's there. It's all on my forearm, and I didn't think about it until afterwards, but it took me much longer than my other tattoos to adjust to it sort of always being there, and it
Okay,
always.
I get it.
Did you have that? Did you find that with sort of getting because you got like a bit of a sleeve situation down the forearm?
It's the wait. Let me see if that's in focus. Can you?
Yeah,
Flowers,
with
right?
Feathers.
Feathers or flowers?
It's actually just leaves.
Leaves.
It's like a fine line
Yeah.
leaf situation. It just it's not like super realistic. It's just like coming down, and like one like tip
One
of
just
the
pops.
leaf will always be like in like
Yeah.
covered by the watch. And Andy, I do agree. She was, because that was done freehand.
Yeah.
And she was like starting like painting on. She'd like used like a marker beforehand. And then we had it like the position and everything in place. And I really liked it. And then she started tattooing and I was like, oh, wow, it totally like goes into where my watch is. But then I was on that spot. I was deciding not to be bothered by it. And now I actually kind of like it because, can I just sidetrack for like a minute? There's like a very weird story that happened to me. I got a message, like an Instagram DM saying like, Jenni, I have finally like uncovered your secret. You are an industry plant and here's my like proof. And I was like, what the hell is this person talking about? And then they send screenshots from the Nomos website. I keep coming back to Nomos for some reason. And they were like, this is your arm. It has like the same freckles.
That's weird.
And this is your arm. Like I recognize the freckles or like the spots. What do you call them? Like a mole?
Freckles.
Is that the right
Moles?
word? Yeah,
Moles.
freckles?
Moles, yes. Oh my God.
I've got like 1, 2, 3, like 4, like in a specific like order. Obviously.
Map of the stars.
And they were like, this is like obviously your arm on the website on like the product photographs. And I was looking at them and it was like scarily close to
Is it? Oh, I had
like
that too.
my arm. But it was not me. And they were like, this is like you and they've planned for you to like come on YouTube like all along. And now weird. I've like uncovered this secret. It's like, this is scary. Like, first of all, I didn't even too much time on their hands.
That's so
but
weird.
This cannot happen to me anymore.
No.
It cannot happen to you. And
they can't steal your photos and claim to be selling it or like, you know.
Yeah, well, they can still.
Exactly.
But okay, so
I've watermarked myself.
I didn't get accused of being an industry plant, but back when I was much more active, posting to like Instagram every day, 6 years ago, I would have people message me and be like, this looks like your wrist. And it was the same. There was a guy out there who had like the same like little bump on the wrist and then a mole in the same spot. And I would look at it and be like, where did I take that photo of that? What? And then I would get confused.
It's crazy, huh?
It's so weird when you find your wrist doppelganger. Like it's super.
That's the thing. It's like a wrist doppelganger. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, like the hair's kind of the same, and it's just it's you just kind of go, what are the chances that I find someone who I could swap in and out of?
That'd be great.
It's. I mean, yeah, super useful for you, Felix, at the peak when you're just a wrist model all over YouTube. But Bobby, you're the Bobby of watches. The plant.
But that was a crazy thing to, and now this cannot happen anymore.
Done. You taught them a lesson, didn't you?
Yeah.
But it was a spooky situation to be like,
username 124.
Maybe I can like find the message in the photos, but
please.
Crazy. But now, Andy, have you come to terms with it? Is it okay now? Are you?
Yeah,
okay?
It's the only tattoo. I mean, I probably have like 12 tattoos now, and it's the only one that I still kind of my brain registers because your brain sort of just doesn't notice them. But I think because I'm always looking at my watch and my wrist, it sort of it's there, and I sort of have come to terms with it being there. And I like all my tattoos, but it was definitely a longer adjustment period. Mm-hmm. And every time I was a little bit self-conscious when we were doing like videos and stuff because we do work with a lot of brands and whatnot, the industry that plants us. And I was a bit like, oh, I can't do anything about this. Like I can't, if the shirt's not right or if the it's just there. You're gonna have to. Tattoos are cool. It's 2024. This is I can't do anything about it.
I think it's part of your key appeal to the youth demographic, Andy.
Keeps me young.
Youth.
The youth. The young kids, the TikTokers, the watch TikTokers.
Anyway, before we start talking about TikTok, let's Andy, let's both say thank you to Jenni Elle for waking up very early and calling Australia.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
We
Thank you
have the
guys for
final
having
question.
me.
We have to get the recommendation, Felix.
Do we still do that?
We do. What do you mean?
Okay.
We have to get a recommendation. Jenni Elle,
Ask a question.
what have you been into? What have you been doing? What are you liking that Snom watches that you to tell us about?
I am half human, half sewing machine.
Oh, okay.
I really loved No, I really love sewing. I rediscovered it, to be honest. I've always been into like knitting and gosh, what's the other word? Anyways, crochet, yes. Heck, can we say in German? But sewing is so nice. It's such a, it's almost like meditative when you like sit in front of a sewing machine and then you produce something at the end, which is so fulfilling. I love me a hobby that is producing something. It's the best feeling right now. And I'm really into sewing. I can only recommend it to everyone. It's
what do you
fantastic.
sew?
Genuinely good recommendation.
I did sew some like maternity clothes when I was pregnant. I sewn my daughter's Christmas dress, just like baby clothes in general, like duvet covers, kind of stuff. Like whatever's needed, I do like alterations for my family as well. If somebody needs their like pants shortened or whatever, I do that.
We'd let mine out, but all right. If I have a blowout and Watches and Wonders, I'll swing past. You're dangerously close to watch strap territory, though. I hope you realise.
Am I though? Oof, I think that's just like a whole new world.
Different skill. Leatherworking is a different skill.
Could be canvas, sailcloth, that sort of thing.
I need like a proper needle for this.
You need the big ones.
But yeah.
Anyway,
sewing
Jenni
is
Elle,
the bomb.
so good to have you on the old
so good to be
video
here.
/ podcast these days. People, I'm assuming everyone has already subscribed to you, but if not,
I hope so.
All the places they can do that.
Subscribe to us, but anyway.
Oh well, I mean, I was being nice.
They are. Jenny's numbers are huge. They're huge. Doing amazing work.
I finally received my play button, by the way. I don't know if you got that story. I got like rejected because of my Ulysse video.
Was it a sexy Ulysse? Was that why?
Yes, it was that one. And now I've filed like an appeal, whatever it's called, and they have manually reviewed it and they deemed me eligible, and I've received it. Just wanted to put it out there. I finally made it.
Can we see it? Have you got it nearby?
Oh, it's upstairs, unfortunately. Sorry. I mean, I can go grab it if you've got like 2 minutes, but I can put it in a picture. Yeah, that's easier. But I made it.
Well, you can grab it after we end the episode, and maybe we'll link up a picture.
We'll talk about this off air.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll link everything up. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, guys. It was such a fun time hearing back from you, and I'm so excited to be back here at your podcast. Thank you so much for having me.
It's always a treat and a delight. Why did we wait so long, Andy? Why? I mean, look, let's just say that we're both looking for replacement OT hosts, and Jenni Elle is top of the list.
She's the top of every list. So make sure you go check out her YouTube channel. If for some reason you've been living under a rock or you've just discovered Watches today, check out our YouTube channel. We'll link it up. Of course, if you like OT the podcast, make sure you are liked, subscribed. Hopefully watching this on YouTube, because Jenni Elle really, as you saw, brought her A game to the video side, and we're getting better.
Like I feel watching, like, normally it's a Zoom, you log on, everyone's got their sort of home office. Hers was like boom, immediate, Dolby surround sound, Cinemax quality.
A rush of insecurity. Well done. We've got Steve now, who's doing a great job out of videos. Shout out, Steve. But if you like OT, of course, spread the word. OT.podcast on Instagram, otthepodcast@gmail.com. And again, YouTube, Discord, Substack. Thank you for the support.
Quick question, Andy. Will the next episode be from Watches and Wonders?
With the rate that we're going, it's going to be right before.
Might be.
Or it'll be on the ground. But it should be. Let's try.
There you go. That's something to look forward to. Andy,
can't wait.
I'll see you in Geneva.
See you there.